Welcome to the guidepost of the thought for the day. A little bit of inspiration to start your day with, and this is something I wrote back in 2015. It's called Love Fiercely, Love Freely. It's time to give away your love fiercely, freely. Time to let the little me inside die. The ego calls out from within, love me, I need love. The spirit cries louder, give love, for you are love. Love is not diminished in the giving. It is not like money. With money, the more you give, the less you have. With love, your giving does not deplete your resources. The love you spend on others will return and fill your heart when you become the lover. When you love fiercely, when you love freely, you become love, and all that is love is yours, is you. The object of your affection is the focus of your love. The purpose of your love is for you to return to the oneness in selflessness, seeking to bless nothing more, nothing less, as your journey continues. Be at peace in knowing the one you shared your love with has been lifted, has been, along with you, set free of their fears of being lonely, unlovely and unlovable. And you, what of your ego and the id? Forget them, ignore them. You, your life force, your soul has shown you you are capable of selfless love. So yeah, there was just this meme and it said, love fiercely, love freely. I thought, that's a great title for a poem. I'm going to write that one. But I do see that sometimes love becomes like an ego thing. I'm the most loving person on the planet. I'm the most spiritual person on the planet. And it, forget it, forget the id, the ego. Just become love. But again, maybe what we were talking about earlier, maybe it is a bit extremist, but sometimes to get the balance, you need to go to the other extreme to come back to the center. So when you observe the sadness and feel the sadness of the world tearing itself apart, the extreme of fear and of giving up on just being human, really, of caring, this is the antidote. You've got to go back to the other side of the extreme of loving fiercely and loving freely, so that you can have a more balanced view of how to be today. I rest my case.
I think the same. I think in not the same, in a different way, but it probably means the same. Is that when we're creating, we're either creating from love or fear. So yes, be love, because in your creating, when you are creating from love, you can acknowledge that the person is in fear and creating from fear, but you don't have to be in that same vibration. You can be in the vibration of love at all times, because your creation from that is also acknowledging that people are having an experience based on where they are at that time.
Yeah.
But in the end, there is only love. We go back to love. So it's nice to experience it while we're here.
See, love is where I believe, love is where we're from, and love is where we return to. And that this is a story that we're telling ourselves while we're here, a duality story. And it's a choice. We came here by choice. I know I'm only quoting what Wayne Dyer talked about, but I agree with it. It feels right inside my soul when there's certain things that you read in books of wisdom or teaching books or philosophical books, and they just sink into your soul and you go, yeah, that's right. And other times you go, I never really thought of it like that, and it doesn't feel right to me. It's not that it's completely wrong. There's wisdom in all things, but it's one of the things that Wayne Dyer talked about, and I think he probably got it from somewhere else because he did an awful lot of study. That we are from love, that we are love, and we're going back to love. And this duality is a choice that we've made. We want to play this game where we have feelings, we have emotions, where we can make choices in the game. We can play it any way we want to play it. And it is a total freedom. But then it's, what do you want your life to mean? What do you want it to achieve? And it's, for Wayne Dyer it was, and therefore, because I'm somebody who's read a lot of what he said, because I've agreed with it, it doesn't really matter how you remember me. It's whether I've had an impact in enabling people to come to consciousness, to come up to awareness, and to be love while we're here. And that's how I see it. But it is okay to see it other ways. Just because I see it one way doesn't mean that anyone who thinks, oh, I like Andrew, that they've got to agree with everything that I say. It's not important.
I agree. I love Wayne Dyer myself as well. I read a lot of what he had to say, and just a beautiful soul, beautiful soul. And the fact that he's passed now, as it just says to me, he's gone back into that place.
I don't know how aware of how much you've read of his teachings, but he seemed to be saying that he thought that he was the reincarnation of Lao Tzu. And he was saying that because he spent a full year looking at the Tao Te Ching, 4.5 days on each verse, and he wrote a chapter about each verse. So he really went to town on it. And I can never remember the name of the book, but if you put Tao Te Ching Wayne Dyer into your search engine, I'm sure you'll find which book it's what it's called. But he also refers to himself as a reincarnation of St. Francis of Assisi, because he went to where St. Francis was, where he lived. He did a tour. I think he did a tour of the Holy Land, and he did a tour of Italy. 2 different tours, and people used to go on the cruise with him, and he had quite an amazing experience going up in this tower where St. Francis had been, and he carried somebody up the tower who collapsed, although he had a bad back himself, and the bad back was healed. So it's like, wow, those are the kind of things that you can either take with a pinch of salt, or you can say, well, there is some of Lao Tzu's wisdom in us all, and there's some of St. Francis's wisdom in each person, but he really identified. So maybe Wayne will be back as some other spiritual teacher in the not too distant future. But regardless of that, it's your life that matters today. It's how you live your life that the poem is pointing to. It's saying, how are you going to be? How are you going to interact with the world? And suggesting that if you're going to do anything to an extreme, make it love, love fiercely, love freely, because you can't go wrong, really. You've got to be aware, though, within your love, that it's not got to be a controlling love. That's why it's love freely, love fiercely, love freely. Because if you love freely, you will always allow other people to be themselves. My mum and my grandma, they love me very much, but they love me so much that they wanted to tell me how my life should be lived. I hope I'm not I'm not attempting to tell you how to live. I'm making a suggestion in my poem about how to love, how to live, how to love, yeah. And it's your choice then. You don't have to do it because the poem says it, but it's there to make you think. So, did it make you think, Catherine?
It did. It's very, very poignant what you're saying there, Andrew. Time to read it again now.
Okie dokes. Okay. So, love fiercely, love freely. It's time to give away your love fiercely, freely. Time to let the little me inside die. The ego calls out from within, love me, I need love. The spirit cries louder, give love, for you are love. Love is not diminished in the giving. It is not like money. With money, the more you give, the less you have. With love, your giving does not deplete your resources. The love you spend on others will return and fill your heart when you become the lover. When you love fiercely, when you love freely, you become love. And all that is love is yours, is you. The objects of your affection is the focus of your love. The purpose of your love is for you to return to the oneness in selflessness, seeking to bless, nothing more, nothing less, as your journey continues. Be at peace in knowing the one you shared your love with has been lifted, has been, along with you, set free of their fears. Fears of being lonely, unlovely, and unlovable. And you, but of your ego and the id, forget them, ignore them. You, your life force, your soul, has shown that you are capable of selfless love. Namaste.